Well, starting off with what the governors want resolved is one on the constitutionality of the National Assembly with regards to the functions of the counties. Dan, I'm coming to you first. And they want an advice from the top court in the country to clarify the principles that should be used to ensure the sharing of the resources by the national government and what it should supervise. And they also want the courts to intervene in the National Assembly, stop the National Assembly from the release of the county funds through the IFMIS, that is the Integrated Financial Management Information System, which they argue is unreliable. Taking a look at that, the perception from above or abroad, when you look at the conduct of the many county governments, will come to what they have phrased, which seem to be legitimate, particularly in terms of the what is your bird's eye view of the conduct of some county governors and administration, because there appears to be an interesting and profound case of devolved corruption across the units.
So, well, thanks, Ayub, and good morning to the viewers. We are just having a chat here with my colleague, and we noted that this is a stalemate that existed for a long time now. You remember in 2013, by then the Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar, during Senators, I think, assembly in Mombasa, he decreed the an unfair treatment of the senators as compared to the members of parliament. And in his presentation, he noted that the senators ought to be allocated more resources because they are traversing the whole county, as opposed to members of county assembly. All right. Sorry, as members of the National Assembly, who only traverse a constituency. But there's preferential treatment. So you realize that that was the beginning of the stalemate by that time. And looking at this thing in history as we go, we realize that our constitution is not followed to the spirit and letter. Look at the divergent opinions that are coming from both houses, where one has been associated as Nyumba ya Wazee, the other one is being seen as the house with tyranny of numbers. And therefore, we are confused as citizens, which is the upper house and which is the lower house, and which is the house with autonomy, and which one is more seen as a house with the low, low credentials. But this is where the battle is. It is more than financial. It's more than money bill. The battle is about the clamor for supremacy. Which house is seen as the one with a number of authority to make decisions. All right. Coming back to this issue before Anyona comes in, I know he probably give us a legal opinion. Will come in to give us the constitutional perspective. Constitution. I think I would join you in asking that before you ask to be given more, could you tell us what you've done with what you have been allocated initially? What you've been allocated before. All right. Now, Wakili, give me the constitutional prism, the constitutional perspective of that. But equally then, looking at the governors and now what seems to be the essence of depicting or painting the members of parliament in the broad brush with regards to how they are trying to create the narrative that the members of parliament are the stumbling block towards the attendance of services across the devolved units in not allowing the cash flow of the 327 billion Kenya shillings. Are the governors in some way depicting themselves as the good people? And in that case, are they holier than thou of the members of parliament? Wakili. Yes, Wakili.
Oh, sorry. You've given me a different title. So I was and I'm waiting for
there seems to be the namesickness here, or Frank here. So Wakili is, that is,
so I'm sorry for that.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So I think there's a problem with this country. And just like my brother said, the issue of supremacy battle between the Senate and the governors. But more critically, you tend to realize that people did not understand the constitution, the 2010 constitution, because if you see most of the bigwigs, they went for the Senate, including the senior counsel, James Orengo. They thought that the Senate was going to be more powerful than even the governor's seat. Now, everyone ran to the Senate position only to realize later and we saw the 2017 election where everybody now was running to the governor's position. So we are living in a very critical times where even the lawmakers do not understand what they are making. Now, going back to to your question about the governors and the budget that they are trying to push for, I mean, I was watching them yesterday, and it's really laughable because they are saying they are demonstrating for the counties. If it's really about the counties, we are the people at the county level. We should be made to understand what these funds are going to do and what is missing, and I mean the deficit of the fund, so that we can demonstrate as a people. But when you see the likes of Governor Oparanya and Nyong'o, and I was even shocked to see the best performing governor, Kibwana, joining hands to demonstrate with these guys, singing Haki Yetu. In the real sense, it is haki yao literally, because they want to fill their bank accounts. Today, if you go to the bank accounts of these governors, you want to miss like 10, 20 billion. They have a lot of money. That event alone, you can be sure it took, I mean, not the event, but the case, the filing of the court case. It will cost more than 200 million.
All right.
Yeah, and that is the taxpayers' money. That money should be used at the county levels.
So, and they need to bankroll that.
Yeah, you remember the deputy president telling them, let us not go to courts because the lawyers are going to benefit from this. And you know, the deputy president was very serious on that. He knows what he's saying. But the question we need to ask ourselves is that, why are these things happening? Is it that the president cannot handle these things? Because it's very easy to call the governors and tell them, now, let us do A, B, C, D. You remember during the time of the doctors and nurses strike, and when the president met the governors, and the governors went back and said, you need to go back to work or you'll be met with consequences. And everything was put into order. So it means it will be in a snap of a finger for the president to solve this matter.
All right.
But the president now is using Aden Duale, who is like a rubber stamp of the executive with the members of parliament, to pursue the governors in an extent that they can keep on engaging. You realize that at the end of it, the country doesn't have money. So the president and the members of parliament, the president is using the legislatures at least to keep the conversation going, maybe as they fix these issues. Yes.
Frederick Obwanda, I'll come to you on this, and it regards, of course, the rollout of the cash from the National Treasury to the counties. And this is largely a constitutional affair because it's envisioned in the 2010 Constitution. But equally, while that is a right, not a privilege, and guaranteed in the Constitution, well anchored for that matter, and we don't dispute that, but equally there should be a reasonable amount to undertake your functions or roll out services to the taxpayers across the 47 counties. Looking back at the performance of these governors from 2013 to 2017, and some now in their second term, they have equally presided over unprecedented economic hard times across our counties, isn't it, in terms of mismanaging and mishandling some of the counties among the 47 counties?
Thank you, Ayub. I think as a country, we really need to read the Constitution 2010 and understand it, as my fellow panelists have said, and make sure we understand it the way the framers of it envisioned it. There is a narrative that is being perpetuated within this country that governors are corrupt and that governors have misused their monies that are being given, and therefore we should walk back and hold any monies that we give them, you know, or cut back the monies that are supposed to go to the counties. I think that is a wrong view. Why do I say that's a wrong view? It's a wrong view because sending money to counties is not a favor the national government is doing to the counties. These are two governments that are equal in stature, that are enshrined in the Constitution, and everybody has their role that they're supposed to do. And what I see as a country is a situation in which there's a very strong side pushing the narrative that the governors are corrupt. Now, if governors are not spending the money the way they're supposed to be spending the money, as a country, we're a country of laws. We have the Office of the Auditor General, and we need to table those figures that says, yes, Governor A has not spent his money this way, the way it was planned, and then table those figures. So I'll refer our viewers to actually look at the reports of, to go to the county, the Council of Governors reports, and just look at the figures that actually go to the counties. For the last couple of years, counties have actually been spending a very big chunk of their monies on recurrent expenditure, paying salaries.
That's about
fuel.
8 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yeah. So if you look at the monies that are actually left for development, it's very minimal. And at the same time, counties have been fighting late disbursements from the central government, where we have situations where you are given money towards the very end of your financial year, to a point where we have everybody running all over the space to spend the little money, the money that they've been given. So governors yesterday had a point. We have laws in this country, and the law states very clearly that whatever has happened, because there's no way the county assembly went ahead and passed an appropriation bill before
consulting the Senate.
Before consulting the Senate and discussing on division of revenue.
All right.
That is supposed to be passing prior to passing an appropriation bill. And even I actually fault the president on this one. How do you go ahead and sign a
An
bill,
issue in contention already,
and yet you know very well that the procedure that the country should be following, that we should be discussing at the division of revenue bill, having put in or having consolidated reports from the Commission of Revenue Allocation, which is actually in the Constitution, that we should consult all these bodies before we actually sign an appropriations bill for the country to function. So right now, as a country, we are actually staring at a government shutdown because money cannot move. And this is basically because everybody is just becoming completely
bankrupted, sort of.